Well, this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation. Got this new video here from one of my recent camps. You know, I just love where I live. I'm over here where I live. It's in the snow. An hour away, I'm out on the desert, and no snow anymore. So out on this camp, a new spot out on the desert. It's the Buckhorn Canyon Viewpoint. I did a setup of my camp at night, and I show that on a video. And I woke in the morning just to some spectacular scenery. You know, we make ponchos, tarps, blankets, and all kinds of outdoor gear. And we have an ultralight poncho, sil nylon. I show some tips about how to set that thing up as a hammock. And also, got to do a little cooking, so I showed campfire nachos in the Dutch oven. So, take a peek at this thing, see what you think. I had a good time. It was really fun. Heading out to go camping. This is just like perfect weather, right? I don't know what in the world I'll find when I get out on the desert. It's going to be fun regardless of what it is. Today I wasn't sure if I was going to catch rain out here, going out into the desert or not, but our storms and everything got delayed a little bit. Wanting to get off the road and try out some new locations to set up my camp. I'm not positive I'm going to be able to get out there. Some areas are very sticky, slick clay, and they become really virtually impassable. There's Cedar Mountain up there in the clouds, and the last couple of weeks I've been camping up on top of that, looking down onto this intermediate level here. And that's what kind of got me the idea of wanting to investigate some camping out in this area. It is winding all over creation, winding back and forth and all around. And this doesn't even show on my topo map on my phone. Taking me near the edge out here. I don't know where this road's going, but I'll tell you what, it's winding all over the place. Out on the edge of this canyon, man, this is awesome. See how it just winds around and around. It's a journey of discovery. Well, I got up here. I'm clear out on this point. It's like cliffs all the way around me, 1,500 feet down or whatever. I spent too much time looking around. It was a little rainy, some nice rainbows and stuff like that. Now it's almost dark and I got to set up my deal. I'm going to put the beast down right here. The wind is blowing this way here. So I'm going to put the beast down, put the canopy over it. Alright, it has been raining a little bit, but the ground's really, it's just kind of misty. The ground's really just kind of barely wet. Alright, I'm going to pull out the Osney narrow blanket. And you see all along the edge here of the beast, I've got snaps. And so, and you see my Osney narrow blanket has double-sided snaps, just like the Osney cloak does. The underquilt. There's a lot of different things you could use on here. Now see, I snap here, which secures this edge. If I wanted to, I could snap my canopy to the other side here. I typically sleep right on the beast. I could just sleep like that and not put any canopy whatsoever. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the canopy up. I might get some strong wind at times. We'll just kind of, these things self-assemble here. Pull these straps out. That one in there and this one right there. Okay, see I have got the cover up here. I think, as I've said before, because we're doing something kind of irregular versus a regular tarp or tent, you don't always have the aesthetics as far as the perfect symmetry and all that sort of thing. But we find that doesn't really matter, because you can make quite a cozy situation even if something looks a little bit irregular. And you see, even with the same pole setup that I've used on other weeks, I just set them up a little higher today. Now I got plenty of room to sit inside of here. So I can have a low profile, I can have a high one. Take my pillow. I am good to go, man. I'm telling you what. It's a great little setup. Really, really nice. Like, there's a lot of place out here where the trees are too small for a hammock, and or there's hardly any trees. Something like this works just beautifully for that. All these branches are wet. I can feel the moisture here, you know. If the flame can last long enough to dry a little bit of stuff out, we'll be good. And also over here I got my pot here, my zebra pot for my water heater hanging from my tripod. And so I'll get heating some water for some good old hot drinks. Quite a beautiful sunrise here out on the edge. Man, it's beautiful. A lot of what I do is remote. You know, I've driven out clear to the end of this point, winding around and stuff in my truck that I could barely even wind around through this road, such tight turns and stuff, to get clear out here to this point. For myself, just to see the beautiful stuff, and for you, to show you where I camp, where I use my gear. You know, that's why I have the kind of gear I've got. That's why I got this old beater truck for my off-roading, for my overlanding. You know, and I don't worry about it. Something about the desert here, we were 33 degrees last night. It's nice to have views like this at my camp. It's literally a breathtaking view sitting right here. You gotta love where I go camping, man. You can't say there isn't some scenery. What a stinking view. Our ponchos are commonly used as hammocks or tarps or various things. There are some best practices in how you set this thing up. Let me show you. If you're using one of our ponchos as a hammock and you have the standard option, which is parachute cord, let me show you how you string the parachute cord through the poncho to turn it into a hammock. So you'll see right here that in the poncho on each end, head, the front and back, we have a cord sleeve sewn in here, and through that sleeve is where you drop your or string your cord. But anyway, so you do have to go through the cord sleeve. You have a hank of parachute cord that comes like this. What I do is I just hold one end in my hand and pull it out. It'll just come right out of here without any problem. Okay. So now I've got my ends right here, and I just run back so that I find my center point, which is a loop. And then I just you can take any kind of pocket knife or whatever you got. And I've got this little Swiss Army with a key on it. And I just put a bigger key ring on it just so that it's easy to do what I'm doing here. Now, since I've gone to the Dyneema runners, I don't do that when I'm using those. But anytime I'm using the cord like this parachute cord. So now see, you just let gravity do the work. You just let that fall through there. And then you see it falls out the other end right here. Okay. So now, all I've got to do is pull that loop out and then drop my knife through there and pull it off. Okay. So now I have a loop. So I take this other end right here and put through that loop. My free end. I'm standing on my ultralight hammock. It'll be all right. Okay. So now, what I'm doing is I just draw that up, and I just try to get it so that it's even right there in the middle when it's drawn up tight. So there you are. That's all you do if you're using the standard option of the parachute cord. You take the other end of the parachute cord and go around the tree and tie it off. This is my favorite, the Dyneema runners. So if you're using a runner, now these have a sewn area right here that's really stiff because of all the sewing that's gone into it. These runners are rated at 5,000 pounds, so they're plenty strong. So I put my little finger through one end because you don't want to be going to the trouble of putting this thing on here and then pull the other end in there and then have to redo it. So all you're doing is just pushing and you're just pushing and pushing and pushing this through that sleeve, right? And every so often you just pull it back. It's just gathering. You're gathering it on the hard spot of that runner. Just like this. Okay. You pull it out like that. And I like to use them just like this. You could put it through like this and let it just kind of gather like that, and you could use it like that as well. If you buy the Hammock kit for ponchos, it'll come with a marlin spike. It's really just a tent tube, aluminum tent tube. Weighs almost nothing. And the nice thing about that is, if you need to set this thing up as a tarp instead, you got a couple of tent stakes you can drive in the ground. So anyway, you can put the shock cord loop around or through the runner, and then just stick the spike through there. It's even easier. Look at this. Even easier to gather it up. Go all the way through. And then all you have to do is get that one spot right there where you hook it together. Get that through there. And then you do want to make sure you put your finger through there, or you'll pull it all the way out. Have to do it over. Then you just pull it like this till you get that end out. Okay. Now once you got the end out, then you just pull this thing off of there like that, and now we're right there where we were before, ready to hang this thing up. So I wanted to get on the back side of the shelter because I put this up last night in the dark, And I tried to give as good a video and stuff as I could on how I set it up. So this backside here, I put it's towards how the direction the wind was coming. And so I'm staked out on the ends with my tent stakes and the shock corded tent stakes. If you look over here, you'll see where my stake is. It comes back a ways and then comes across. I staked out wider than the beast. And then after I staked it, I actually snapped. There we go. I actually snapped this canopy to the beast. So that way, that prevents the wind from trying to lift this and getting under there, because the canopy is snapped right to the beast on that edge. The wind can't really get in there and lift anything because it's being held down by the beast and everything. I did pitch it higher than I've pitched it in some of the previous camps I've been on, just to show you I can pitch it high enough to sit in it. Now let me tell you something you could also do with the beast. We've tried to make the beast just, you know, I'm the kind of guy, I like my gear to be really, really multifunctional as far as it's practical. You can get to a point where it's just kind of ridiculous and it doesn't really accomplish anything. But anyway, but you see, I'm using these tent poles, aluminum tent poles. Now we sell the tent poles, but you can also use your own. You don't have to get them from us. And frankly, we really don't make any money selling the tent poles. We've got them. They're a little expensive, but I used to be an engineer at Easton Aluminum. Tent poles was one of my departments when I was in engineering. So I can't buy anybody else's, and it's just I can't bring myself to do it. So anyway, but I like them. They're great quality. But anyway, if you have some tent poles, you can use your own. That's why we made the ends where the poles go into on the beast. We made those so that you can put anything even bigger than a finger inside of there. You could actually even take some willows and bring them across, and you could actually make an X out of willows and stab them into there and use willows and not even have any kind of tent poles. And that's one thing I wanted, is to have all kinds of options. I've always just put my shock cord with a cord lock on it and just pulled it down tight, and it's been enough. But I found that with a continuous 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts, this shock cord here will slide eventually. And once it slides a certain distance, it'll fall over. So what I found out, I just needed more grip. So I had these wide elastic bands. So I just put one of those around there. And it can be ugly as it can be, it doesn't matter. And then when you cinch this on, that rubber band has a ton of grip. And this thing doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to have nachos now. I'm going to use flavored chips. Usually I use just plain unflavored corn chips, but yeah, it's something different. Okay. Something like that. This is blanket nachos. So what we're gonna do is this is pepper jack. So instead of using grated cheese, just gonna blanket that right there. So I'm gonna do this in the Dutch oven. I'm gonna set that in the fire. And so I don't want the coals heating everything up too fast. So I put this tin foil, it's just a strip of tin foil, and you just wad it into kind of a shape like that and then spiral it. Then you put this kind of centered inside there. Then we're going to put the lid on top. We're going to put some coals on the lid. Put those right there. And then get me a little shovel of coals up top. And I'll check it every few minutes because, believe me, it's not going to take long to get hot enough to melt that cheese. I think we're close to done. Let's check it out. Oh, look at that. That's what we're talking about right there. Started going a little haywire here. Got a little more done than I had planned. But looks good. I like that pepper cheese. Some of it just dripping. So, you know, Dutch oven nachos. Just absolutely drenched and blanketed with cheese. Pretty good evening snack. What a day. Tell you what, it feels awfully good to get off my feet. Sun's going down about an hour and a half. She'll be down.